Welcome to the Ouchigohan Onigiri Action Halloween Bash. My name is Julia Thang, and I'm the Program and Membership Coordinator at USJETAA. Also joining us today is Jessica Livingston, who is our Executive Director, and we're both very excited to be hosting this October session for the very first time. For those of you who are not familiar with USJA, we are a nonprofit organization dedicated to strengthening US-Japan relations by providing support and opportunities for our extensive JET alumni network. We host a variety of events throughout the year, from professional development sessions, like our upcoming JET to HR, where participants can learn about career paths in people-related fields, happening next week on October 21st. And we also host cultural discussions like our Religion of Anime event on November 12th, which explores the cultural and emotional forces behind anime's appeal and the passionate fandom it inspires. If you aren't already a USJA member or would like to sign up for our newsletter, we encourage you to stay connected so you don't miss any of our upcoming events and programs. Also, I'd like to thank the Japan America Societies that helped spread the word about today's event. And if you aren't already connected, be sure to connect with your local Japan Society if you haven't. All right, and now I'd like to introduce our wonderful instructor, Deb Samuels.
Hi,
Eh,
everybody. Hi, welcome.
So she is a Japanese food expert who will be guiding us through today's dishes. Debra is a cookbook author, cooking teacher, and the 2020 recipient of the John E. Thayer Third Award for Outstanding Contributions to Cultural Exchange. Many of you probably have had the chance to learn from Deb before, but if you haven't, you're definitely in for a treat. She's fantastic at sharing delicious recipes and guiding us through each step with ease. So if you have any questions as we go along the way, you're welcome to drop them in the chat, and then we can field them and direct them to Deb. So thank you so much, Deb, for leading this session. And so I'll hand things over to you.
Yay. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm welcome back to several people that I see have come to our programs many times. My name is Deb Samuels, and I work for Table for Two. And today's program is going to highlight onigiri. This is Onigiri Action Month, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that today as well. And I, very briefly about me, started going to Japan when I was an exchange student in college in 1972. I was 20 years old when I went off to Japan, and have lived there a total of 12 years over the past 53. I've raised kids there, learned cooking there, got my passion for bento going there. And my husband was also a member of this study group. He is now a professor of Japanese politics at MIT, and I teach about food and food education. So these exchange programs and what JETA is doing as well really make a huge impact on people's lives. And fortunately, I had the opportunity to study Japanese, which enabled me to have a reasonably good life and sort of integrate into the society there. So if there are any young people, or if anyone else has had this opportunity, I know how much it could mean and really shape what you do going forward. So enough about me. We're going to get started. Today we'll be making 3 items, which I will tell you about. And so this is kind of a combination Onigiri Action and Halloween event for us. And we will first do a short 8 to 10 minute PowerPoint presentation, lots of pictures of food, so it'll be fun. And then we'll get cooking. All right. So let me share. Once again, I'll just ask, does anybody have any questions? I hope people were able to prepare what was in the list and on the highlighted yellow part. when you fill out the forms at the end that give us a survey, it helps me to know how to improve in giving you information. And so I'm hoping that the more specific I get, the better it is for everybody. Okay, let me share my screen and
Deb,
we
while, Deb, while
yeah.
you're getting your screen set up, I'm just going to mention to everyone, I'm going to be taking some screenshot photos throughout today's session. So if you're uncomfortable with that, and we'll probably share these with Deb so they can go on social media. So if you're uncomfortable with that, please DM me through the chat, or just make sure that your screen is off. And you should, we're trying something new today, so you may get a notification letting you know that we're going to take a photo. So just let me know if you're uncomfortable with that throughout the session today. Thanks.
And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, or you can shout out. As long as there's no background noise, I'm happy to answer as we go. So today is our Ouchigohan Halloween Spooktacular. We're going to be making onigiri with delicious salmon filling. If you have that, if you're a vegetarian, I'll be interested to know what you've used instead. We have a delicious kabocha soup, Japanese because kabocha is a Japanese pumpkin, and a spinach ohitashi, which is a marinated spinach salad, and it's one of the most classic salads of all, I think, Japanese side dishes. And hopefully, if there are spinach haters here, maybe you used another vegetable, and that will be good to know. All right, so this is Onigiri Action. We do this during the month of October, from I think it was the 5th through the 15th. And let me just hit this. All right. Oops. Here we go. So our organization is Table for Two, started in Japan as an organization that wanted to address the global food imbalance, where some of us have inadequate food and others of us in the more developed countries have way too much food. And so we've been trying to work on this through a variety of different programs. Our healthy eating program here in the United States is something where we go into the schools and we teach about healthy and balanced eating through a Japanese angle. We also, this Onigiri Action program provides school meals, actual meals to children in need around the world, basically in East Africa, Southeast Asia, and here in the United States, we enhance school meals in underserved communities, which means we're adding more vegetables and things. We provide the money to make it a healthier meal. Okay, and I've just explained two of them. So the school meals, there's also a meal sharing program in Japan. Companies will have cafeterias and people who buy healthy meals. It's called a TFT meal. 25 cents of that is donated to this campaign. And the Wa-Shokuiku, Learn, Cook, Eat Japanese, is what I am involved in. And this is where we go to schools, we go to libraries, boys and girls clubs, everywhere, senior citizen centers, and we teach about Japanese food and healthy eating. Onigiri Action is our fall campaign, and in the spring, we have Edamame Champ, where we promote healthy eating through learning about soy. So this came about usually October 16th, 2025. It is a World Food Day, and a lot of countries all over the world get together to promote this, and Japan has this, their role in it is Onigiri Action. We're not going to go through any videos, but we'll do that. So the way it works is, and I hope you will do this today, you take a picture of onigiri, you make the onigiri, you take a picture of the onigiri, you upload on your social media, with hashtag Onigiri Action or ours, and 5 school meals are donated through our sponsors. And these are just some of our sponsors from mostly Japanese companies. They provide the funds, and the organization that we work with provides the meals. We've chosen onigiri because in Japan, it's rice balls are kind of the symbol of love. It's one of the foods that are actually made with hands, and it's thought that the love is transmitted through the hands into the food and to the person who's receiving it. And when I'm talking to people who don't know what onigiri is, I kind of tell them it's the peanut butter and jelly sandwich of Japan. It's sort of like, most people have a very fond memory of it. Onigiri in Japan is not just a rice ball, it can be molded into different characters and stuffed with all kinds of interesting food. Onigiri milestones, rice cultivation began way back. The rice came through China was at first dried and was a field food where people would bring it with them to the fields. And it was a very easy snack to carry around. Some of the oldest articles are written about onigiri in around 700, 724, the Tales of Genji, if people know that. Pickled plum is a very popular filling, favorite food of the samurai, I'm told. And the plum also helps to preserve the rice as well as to provide a little bit of hydration from the salt. And let's fast forward to our 7-Elevens, where they invented the really cool wrap for the onigiri, where you can just pull it off and the nori sticks to it, and it's not, it doesn't get soggy or anything like that. And that was developed by 7-Eleven, which hopefully I hear is coming to the United States, Japanese style 7-Eleven. First school lunch in Japan had onigiri, and the most popular filling is tuna mayo, tuna mayonnaise. And onigiri also changes form, and one of the most popular ones is like onigirazu, which is like a rice sandwich. All right. And I'm sure a lot of young people get into Japan and Japanese culture through anime. They see food in these anime, in the cartoons, in the manga, and they go buy it and they become interested in it. And so this is a great way for us to be able to relate to kids when we're teaching them, because pretty much everybody knows One Piece and Pokemon. Onigiri is now sushi, everybody knows, because it's sort of one of the most popular entryway foods. But sushi is made with vinegared rice. These rice balls are made with the plain rice. We tend to call it sushi rice only because you can make sushi with this rice. But today we'll be using the plain white rice as the base. All right, onigiri is a symbol of love and care, as I explained. And today we'll be using a plastic wrap instead of your hands. If people are opposed to plastic wrap, I'll ask you to have a little bowl of water near you so you don't get the rice grains all over the place. All right, we're going to get cooking now. And just important, always have to mention food allergies. Sometimes there are things that people are not used to that are an ingredient. Always read a label. All right, so I'm going to stop my share here. And we are going to, let me just get this back up. Okay, so everybody can see me. So our menu today is the Kawaii Onigiri. It's Kawaii, which means scary, and Kawaii means cute. Kabocha soup and spinach ohitashi. we're gonna start with the spinach ohitashi, because we need to marinate the spinach, okay? So, I'm going to ask everybody, I'm just going to go over there, and then I'm gonna switch my camera so everybody can work along with me. Let me ask, has anybody used a vegetable other than spinach? Anybody use something other than spinach? You did, Charlene? What did you use, honey? Instead of spinach?
We were,
What-
we were discussing using kale, but we ended up getting spinach anyway.
Oh, okay. Kale would have to be cooked really well to use this, but all right, got it. All right, so let me switch my camera now so that we can work together. And all right, share. All right, so here's my little kawaii onigiri pumpkin here, but he's just there to say hello. But we're gonna get started first with the spinach, all right? So I have cooked my spinach, and I think that I have mentioned that everybody should do that their spinach should be cooked. And now you will see how we handle the spinach in order for it to be able to absorb all of the ingredients that we're going to put in there. So I have a shallow bowl like this, a little Pyrex thing. And here we go. The ingredients called for a half a cup of dashi. And I'm not going to go through how to make dashi, but there are so many different things now that you can purchase to make it easy. This home dashi, it's not the best option because it's a lot of salt and sugar. These packets of dashi are also available, and they still have a lot of different ingredients in them, but they look like a sachet with all of the elements in there. That's it. And then you can also always make it from scratch, which is a very, very, very easy thing to do. So these are katsuo flakes. This is kombu. Those are the two elements that you use. And I'll just show you the katsuo flakes here. All right. Katsuo is are bonito flakes. And they are smoked and they give things that very special element. But today, I hope you have just got your dashi ready. And so what we're going to do is take a half a cup of dashi and put it in the bowl that you're going to marinate. Okay. And put that in. All right, that's a half cup of dashi. And oops, I put down my thing here. And we have 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and 1 teaspoon of sugar. So I've measured out my sugar. I know many people here are adults, but we do have some kids sometimes, and I just like to make sure that they understand some of the basics that we already know. This is the teaspoon, this is a tablespoon, and I've already measured my teaspoon of sugar, so I'm going to pour that in. All right. And then the next one is 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. And this, I would like to demonstrate. I did not prepare that ahead of time. My soy sauce is in my little show you container, but you never measure over the bowl that you're going to be using with other ingredients. Because if you slip, you've either got something too salty or too sweet. So I always measure on the outside. It's 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Okay. And very often I'm spilling things, and that's why we do it. And then you add it. All right. So you just mix that up like that. All right. And I'm just going to set this aside because we want to dissolve the sugar. Right. Put this here. I'll put these back into the sink. All right. And now I'll take my spinach. I think I pretty well drained it, but I'm just going to show you now that you really need to squeeze the water. I've got a, oops, I didn't bring the plate there. Oops, all right, plate underneath. Squeeze the water from the spinach really well. You really want this to be, even though it's going into liquid, you want to take as much liquid out because the more liquid that's in there will weaken the flavor. All right, so let's keep squeezing, squeezing. It's amazing how small a bunch of spinach can end up becoming after you've cooked it and then drained it. All right, so that's a lot of liquid underneath there. You see that? There's a lot of liquid. That would dilute the sauce. So that's why we do that. Let me just move this off here. All right. And since I wet this, let me just take a paper towel, dry it up. And we're not just going to put the spinach in here. We're going to cut it first. And what I want you to do is place it on a cutting board. And you're going to make a log like this. All right, everybody see? Just gonna make a log. Yes, we're gonna include the stems. They should be nice and clean now. All right. And now what we're gonna do is cut this down vertically, like this. Okay. And so I've got that 1, 2, 3, 4 sections here, and then I'm gonna cut thirds, going down this way and one more time. Why are we doing this? Because it makes it easier to, number one, eat with chopsticks, and also gives more surface space for the vegetables to soak up. Now we're just going to put the vegetables right in here, like this. Okay. And this is our marinade. You can marinate this for an hour or overnight in the fridge. Okay. I want to make sure everybody's with me before I move on. Any questions from anybody? Julie, I thought I saw a question in the box. Is everything copacetic there? Any questions from anyone?
Yeah, I don't see any questions, but I mean, I know if your hands are a little bit dirty, you're welcome to come off mute too, to ask for quick questions. But right now, I don't see any questions in the chat.
Okay, that's it. And now you can put this in the fridge, and it'll be ready to have, it'll have a nice flavor when we are ready to eat. All right, so just give me a second to put in the fridge, and then I'm going to clean off the area. Okay. So I'm going to go on to the next thing that we're going to do is the kabocha soup. Let me just clean off my board here. I try to practice CAYG, clean as you go. I'm not always very good at it, but I do try. All right, makes things less crazy later on. All right, kabocha time, everybody. All right, how many people were able to get the kabocha? And is anybody else, are people using any other kind of a squash? Most people have kabocha? Yeah? Okay. One of the reasons kabocha is so good. Kabocha means pumpkin in Japanese. This actually is a Japanese variety of squash that was developed. Let me just have a sip of water here.
Looks like we have one person using butternut squash.
Okay, great. So butternut squash has a little bit more liquid in it than kabocha does. So you may need to use a little bit less of the dashi for this, okay? You're going to experiment a little bit with it, all right? So I have my pumpkin here. It is a bear to cut and to cut up and peel, but it's worth it once you get there. There are all kinds of tips all over the internet on how to do it well, or more easily. But the skin of the pumpkin is edible once it's cooked. And it's soft, and Japanese very often leave pieces of it on for aesthetic purposes. But I put mine into the microwave after I cut it like this. I cut it, and then I cut it up into little chunks, and I put it in the microwave, and I found that it was much easier to peel at that time. Whoops, so it came off pretty easily. I didn't try to cook it. I just tried to cook it enough so that I could peel it. All right. So I used a half.
Deb, how long did you put it in the microwave for, in case people want to try this later?
Okay, so this is the amount that I had here, it's a half, and I cut it all up like this, and I put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. I sprinkled a little bit of water on it, and I covered it and did it for about 2 minutes. And the skins mostly came off pretty well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you for asking that. All right, and so now I have my pot right here. And kabocha cooks very, very quickly. That's why I was not going to have you do it on your own. And we're cooking it now in dashi. Is there anybody that's a vegetarian that is not using dashi, or maybe using kombu dashi or vegetarian thing? Okay, because if you are, that works as well. And here it calls for 3 cups of dashi. This is my big one, and this is my 2-cupper. So I'm going to take the 2 cups and I'm going to put it right into the pot. Okay.
Deb, we have one person using vegetarian broth, but I think I heard you say that it doesn't make a difference for this.
It tastes a little different. This dashi has a smoky, fishy flavor to it, but it'll be just fine. And we're going to be adding the element of soy sauce and mirin, which will also give it a nice flavor as well. So I've got 3 cups of dashi going into the pot. All right. And I'm going to turn it on. Oops. This down. And sure I've got this engaged. All right. There we go. And so is everybody cut up their pumpkin? Okay. And it should be in about 2-inch chunks like this. All right. And it's going to take us about, I would say, 5 to 6 minutes for it to get nice and soft. What I'm going to do now is just cut them up just a little bit smaller, like in half, so that it does cook reasonably. That's a kind of a big chunk. So anything you've got here is a big chunk. You might want to that's a big chunk.
And is it okay to leave some of the skin on from the cup?
Yes, I have here. Okay. So I've left some of that on. And I'm just going to cut that up. And yeah, this is way too big. and that's maybe a little bit more skin than I really want to have, and that would bother me when I was eating it, so I'm gonna cut that off.
Yeah, would leaving the entire skin on change the texture of the soup?
Absolutely, absolutely. You can leave the skin on when you're making a simmered dish, but the soup is quite different. A soup would be very different. You wouldn't want to do that. Okay, so this is now getting hot. I'm going to put in to the pot. Okay. And we will let this all cook. Okay. Did anybody make their own dashi today, or people buy the stock? Cindy, you made your own dashi?
Yes, I just used the kombu and the shiitake.
Ah, so you've got a bit.
I really, the bonito is just a little difficult for me yet.
Okay. It's strong. It is strong. It's a fermented smoked fish, and the fish is in the tuna family. So it's a dark fish, and it's strong. So I totally understand that. And shiitake and kombu will give you very nice flavor. Okay.
And someone's doing a vegetarian dashi with kombu. Is mushroom the main ingredient in the vegetarian dashi instead of the fish?
Not necessarily. Vegetarian dashi can be just kombu, but they will add other things in it, like I mean, they will add salt and sugar and other sorts of things. But a good vegetarian dashi is usually made with kombu, daikon, and shiitake. Those are generally the three elements that give it a rather full flavor. Okay. All right. Does everybody have their pumpkin going? Okay. Today I will be using a hand blender. This is my favorite kitchen tool that purees everything. Whoops, where we are there. If you don't have one of these, certainly a potato masher would be fine too, or you can put it in a blender. Okay, so we want to be getting this to be nice and smooth and creamy. This is more of a creamy soup than a chunky soup. Okay, all right. So let's let this cook for a while. And Jessica, could you put on your 5 or 6 minute timer for me? So can let me know.
Sure thing.
All right, very good.
I'll let everyone know when 5 or 6.
Let anybody know. Okay. We are multitasking here today. All right. So while this is cooking, we are now going to go over to the salmon. We'll get that started and to have that ready to add to the rice. All right. Here. All right. Is anybody using something other than salmon today? Anybody using anything else? No, everybody's using salmon. You can use canned salmon if you want. I had a request for tuna mayo. Okay. Yes, absolutely tuna mayo. Alexis, are you going to be making that? Do you have tuna? Okay. You got the tuna? I got the mayo. All right, we got both here. This will be, I'm going to show you how to do both of them. Mine will be salmon mayo, but you can use tuna as well. All right, so what I'd like you to do, this is a very, very traditional way to season onigiri, or adding another element to rice. And it is a salmon that has been grilled. All right, and you don't need very much of it. I think it's maybe a little bit more than 1/4 pound. But look, make sure the back, because in Japan, Mayday taberu, you eat with your eyes. We don't want any of the dark meat here coming through on this. All right, so I'm gonna take off a little bit of that here.
Is there a taste difference or is it just for like the aesthetic?
Aesthetics. It is a little oilier, but basically aesthetics. Okay, so here's my salmon that I broiled. I just put some salt on it, and this one took 5 to 6 minutes. Some of them are thinner and they take less time, but this took 5 to 6 minutes. All right, so you just put it in a bowl. And Alexis, you can just put your can of tuna in the bowl. You're already shredded, but I'm going to show people how to shred this. 2 forks, and you're just going to pick apart the meat like that. Okay, you really want it to be shredded. Okay, so there are 2 ways that we can use this. There are 2 ways that we're going to use this today. Again, 2 forks. So we're going old school here, guys. I'm sure there are many different ways to do this, but when I teach, I tend to teach you the way I learned, and I learned in a very old school manner in the mid-80s. So everything's kind of really done by hand. We just want to separate all of this as much as you can. Okay. So there are 2 ways to do this. One way is to mix the whole thing in with the rice. So you have a mixed rice that we will mold. The other way is to make the onigiri first, and then you stuff it with the salmon. So I will show you both ways today on how to do that. I'm going to just turn down my pumpkin. It's boiling. All right. Okay. And you want to, I think, let me just double check. I think we are going to be adding a teaspoon of soy sauce to this. Okay. So take your teaspoon of soy sauce. And Alexis, you do this too. And don't measure over the bowl, just measure on the side here. Oopsie, I've already spilled it. And just sprinkle it around. Okay. And mix it up.
Do you have any favorite vegetarian onigiri options?
Favorite vegetarian ones. I like this kombu skudani, which is like a shredded kombu that's simmered in soy sauce and has sesame seeds and sugar added to it. It's really very delicious to have that. And then, umeboshi is also a big favorite. That's the pickled plum that you can shred like this and also mix with a shiso leaf. And that's a favorite of mine.
Wow, yeah, and it looks like Alexa's also making one with pickled carrots, which sounds really good too.
Oh, nice.
I'm
Okay.
gonna interrupt and let you know that my timer just went off.
Okay, everybody, check your pumpkin. I'm gonna pierce the pumpkin and see if it's okay. Not ready. Mine is not ready, so we're gonna continue on. Can you give us another 3-minute heads up?
Sure thing. And
Oh.
I have a question about the onigiri, Deb. I have used smoked salmon in the past, which worked really well.
Yes.
And I was wondering if and I'm sure I will repeat using that because my kids love it, but I feel like if I added soy sauce to that, it would be way too salty. What do you think?
Way too salty, way too salty. I wouldn't do that. I would just chop up that salmon. That's already pretty flavorful.
That's what I thought. Okay, thanks.
Okay, all right. So now we're gonna get our rice. I'm just gonna get it out of the rice cooker here. And I'm keeping it hot. So on this one, you want to take about a cup of rice or a cup and a half of rice. Okay. All right. So my rice is nice and hot now. Alexis, what I'm going to tell you to do is take a separate bowl, or you take your bowl with you doing it this way, and you're going to, I'm just going to take a little bit so I can show everyone how to do it. And I'm going to put some of my salmon in bowl. Okay. I've already added the soy sauce. And then you will take, for 1 can of tuna, it's probably 1 tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of mayonnaise. So I'm using Kewpie mayonnaise, the Japanese one. And I don't have a full can here, so I'm just gonna mix it like this. Now, if you're not allergic to sesame oil, that's another good addition. And if you like things spicy, you could add a little bit of sriracha. Okay, as well. So this is your salmon mayo or your tuna mayo, if you just want it like that. Okay. All right. So that's this one. We don't mix in with the rice, we stuff the rice, and I'm going to show you how to do that. That aside. With this, we add the rice to the salmon and we mix it together. You're going to start with about a cup, okay? Start with about a cup of rice, like that. You don't want the salmon to overwhelm the rice because it'll make it very hard to mold that, okay? And then yes?
Before you start molding, I'm going to have you check your kabocha.
Yes, yes, I'm not molding yet. Okay. Are we at the 3-minute mark?
Yep.
All righty. Everybody check your kabocha. Oh, mine's almost there. Ooh,
And how do you know when it's done? When it pierces through, like very soft?
pierces through.
Mm.
Very soft. You want it very soft, okay? So mine is really pretty soft now, and I'm gonna leave it for a few minutes so I can turn it off, okay? And it will continue to soften in there, all right? This is what it looks like. It smells really good. And it is totally pierced, okay? I know it's not great to multitask, but we can do it. We've got a bunch of things to get going. All right. So now I have the salmon. Oopsie daisy. In with the rice. So I started with a little less rice than I think I need. And you can always add more, but it's harder to take it away. So I always like to add more than less. And I have, just because I have it, I have my Japanese rice paddle. If you can see, it's got all these dimples on it. It makes it kind of easy not to stick to the paddle. And now you just want to incorporate the salmon like this. Okay. All the way through the rice. I have a very generous cup and a quarter of rice here. And I may add a little bit more. Okay. Everybody with me? Okay. So I've got a lot of ratio here of salmon to rice. I want a little bit more rice than salmon. So I'm gonna a little bit more rice. Yeah, that's better. Now, at this point, if you would like to, there are lots of different things that you can add in for a nice little crunch. You can add some sesame seeds if you want. I have black sesame seeds. It would be a nice contrast, but usually I like to just sprinkle those on top rather than put it in. There's something called shiogoma, which is salt and sesame seeds, and it's usually a combination. It's got a really great, adds a great flavor to it. Okay. All right. So that's done now. This is ready for molding. And this is ready for stuffing. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a traditional onigiri shape first. All right. Does everybody also have nori? That. So the soup is okay just sitting there. So that's fine. Let's just get this.
Hey, Deb. I have a question about the nori.
Yes.
It seems like whatever brand I buy, it's just never crispy enough. Or
Yeah.
it, and then I try to crisp it up. I have an electric stove or a glass stove, but it still is not as good as like the 7-Eleven rice ball.
I know, because they don't put because in order to have the crisp nori, you have to make the onigiri, and when you're ready to eat it, that's when you wrap it. That's when you put it on. I'll show you that today. But
Okay.
I also bought, can you see these numbers here?
Uh-huh.
This is supposed to be the crispiness factor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I keep looking for 3 and I haven't found it. But I will tell you, the more expensive the nori, the crispier it is.
Okay, thank you for that.
So this is about $4.50. No, I splurged, maybe $6 or $7 on this one, not too much. But if you buy $10 worth of nori, it's going to be crispy. The other thing is, I don't care if I'm having 25, 40 people here. I'm only buying packages of 10. And I'm only opening it when they're gone. Because as soon as you open this, the air's in it, and it gets like this. And
Yeah, it gets brown.
can't be helped. So you even if you're having a hand roll sushi party and there's a lot of people coming, just buy multiple packages of 10. Okay, that's really the safest way to do it.
Deb, I have a question about the numbers there. You said it's 1, 2, and 3, and I had never known about that before. Is which one is the most crispy and which one is the least crispy?
The crispiest is 3.
Okay.
Usually I can't find anything but 2. So,
Okay.
but the crispiest is 3. If I found 3, I'd buy it, and I bet it would be more expensive.
Oh, I can see it written on the bottom now. Now it's clear. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, if you have an electric stove, it's very hard to crisp these up. You can also, I don't want to tell you to put it in the toaster oven because you'll have a fire, but anyway, I've seen people do that. 2 sides to the nori. There's a shiny side and a rough side. The rough side is the side that goes against the rice. Okay, it sticks to the rice better. And the shiny side is prettier. Mede taberu, you eat with your eyes. Nori is not just for, it serves many purposes. It is a sea vegetable, and it's got minerals and vitamins in it. but it helps to keep the rice off of your hands as well, as you'll see. So Cindy, for this one, we make one and you can wrap it right away and eat it as soon as you can. And see if that makes somewhat of a difference for you. But all right, let's get ready to mold. And take your seaweed and let me get that. All right, I'm opening my package here so that I could use a nice fresh one. I have a friend whose family is purveyor of seaweed, and she keeps it in an airtight container on the shelf. But I've also do not put nori in the refrigerator. It dries it out. If you're going to put it anywhere, put it in the freezer. Okay, that's another one. So here we go. We take my seaweed out. So now I'd like everybody to get a piece of plastic wrap, saran wrap. If you don't want to use saran wrap, let me know. But see how much crispier that is than this. This has only been out for an hour. And this is much crispier. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold, you can kind of cut this in thirds. And if it's crispy like it is, you'll be able to just hear that crunch. You should be able to just break it. Okay. Maybe. Okay. And then just, yeah, tear it like that.
Oh, that's very satisfying.
Very satisfying, okay? Rough side, shiny side. All right. Let's get this rolling. There is.
And Deb, do you happen to know why onigiri is always like a triangle shape? Is it just like a convenient shape to eat?
There are many theories about that. And one that I heard that sounds very romantic is that it's shaped like Mount Fuji. But I do not know if that is true. Okay? But it is a very easy to hold in your hand. That is what it. Originally, they were dried flat discs that people ate out in the field. But this is, I was told one of the many theories is that it's shaped like the sacred Mount Fuji. All right, so I've got a bowl here, and I've got a piece of plastic wrap like this. Okay, this is a Japanese mom hack. It's not mine. And pretty much everybody does this. And you want to just put your put the rice and put the plastic wrap into the bowl. This is a rice bowl, or just a small custard cup or something would be fine as well. Right? And then we're going to put in about a little bit, about a half a cup. Okay, like that. You don't want it to be too giant. Okay, and now we're going to bring up two sides. Let me just pull back just a little bit so I can. You're going to bring up two sides like this. Okay, and then the other two ends right up to the middle, like that. All right, you've got your ball, all right? And then you're just going to take, the goal here is you do not want to mush anything. You're kind of gently caressing this and getting the rice and the grains to stick together. And then you're just going to twist 1, 2, 3, very gently, okay, like that. And then we're just going to kind of roll it together like a snowball. Okay? Just like a snowball. All right? And now we're going to form it into a triangle. A lot of different ways to do this. I'm right hand dominant. My left hand, I'm going to put the ball down. All right? And then you're going to make, a little hard with the camera, kind of a roof with the top with your other hand, like forming an upside down V here. And you're going to pick up the ball like this, and your 3 fingers are here. You've got your thumb here, and then you're going to place your other hand on top like that. And you're going to very carefully press it. The goal here would be an equilateral triangle. Okay? And we're getting there. And believe me, these are not perfect anywhere. And what you're going to do next is you're going to flip it 1 angle. And the next point is at the top. You're going to do the same thing and flip. Okay. This is always such a hard thing to do on camera. And then flip. And if there are any kids trying this, this is a great thing to do. But if you're having trouble, you could always put it down on the table and just do that. Okay. There you go. And you've got your salmon onigiri. Okay. So this is the traditional shape and has nothing to do with Halloween in the sense that it's a traditional triangle, but I picked orange because of the Halloween colors. And then you're going to take your nori. This is a little wide for this. So I think I'm just going to take off another little bit of a strip here. Okay. There are lots of ways to do this. Some people wrap the whole thing in seaweed. This should be about, or you can just cut it as well. And now with the wrap as it is, you put the nori rough side down about 2/3 of the way up. See the point there? And then you're just going to roll it forward. You still haven't touched it. And you have, right. Now this is way too tall. You can also put it down like this and make a hole there, but I'm just going to take it off like that. And you have your onigiri. Okay. The simplest form for this. Okay. And I love these plates. And then this, that could be it with this. This is not necessarily Halloween shape, but I'll just show you other kinds of toppings that you could put on it. These are the furikake toppings. One is yukari, which is a kind of a sour, salty, red shiso, kind of a red basil. And then this is the regular furikake that has the seaweed, dried egg, sesame seeds, all sorts of yummy things in it. And sometimes people will to add a little bit more flavor, although you really don't need a lot more flavor with this because you've got the nori, all right? They might just take it and dip in like that, okay? A little bit extra flavor. And if you want to have 2 experiences, you can dip the other side like that. Okay. So there's your first not Halloween onigiri. Okay. So there you are. Now, because I know you want to try it crispy, and I see some people already chewing. You can have a bite, but I'd like you to take a picture first before you do that and tell me what you think. If you can have all these different flavors. How does it taste, Cindy? What do you think?
It's delicious. I've never made it with the salmon before, just umeboshi.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like one of the most popular, fillings. Alexis, what are you using, hon? You got the tuna?
Yes, the tuna, and my son said, add the sriracha, please, and that is delicious.
Okay.
Really excellent.
Did you do it by stuffing it in the middle?
Yes, yes, I have that here.
So when you do that, you do the onigiri, and you can do the same thing with the salmon. You do it the same way, but you make a little indentation in the middle, and you add about a tablespoon of the filling, and then you close it back up, and you make this. Okay, so this is just your basic onigiri, and I will do one more, kind of in the shape of a pumpkin. And then you can decorate it however you like. Just show you how to do one more. All right, let me get my handy bowl, because that really helps me to mold that. Okay.
Deb,
And-
when you have the rice in there and you're sort of pressing on it, how firmly are you pressing on it? Like when my kids make onigiri, they squeeze the heck out of it, you know?
No, you think about like you're dealing with a soft little baby. You're just very light pressure like this. Very light. Okay. You got no squishing. No squishing. Because then it just makes everything so mushy to eat. All right, same thing, up into a sling. All right. And this time we're not going to necessarily, we're just going to make that snowball. Okay. That. But if you can see now, what I'm doing is I've made it into a ball, but I've really tightened it up. So it kind of is going to look like a pumpkin when I open it up. Right? I think the black plate would be more. So if you can see the indentations in there, it's a little bright, but now I'm going to open, I want to make sure it's going to stick together. Like this. Ah, beautiful. And so we've got this beautiful shape now here, and you can, if it's mostly around for adults and you don't really need to go making faces, or if you don't want to, you can just put a little bit of a green pea in the top here. What you do is I forgot that, is you make a little indentation in the top, right? And then you add your pea or your edamame or something green to the center like that. And if you're using a plain rice, this is with plain rice, but you can also decorate your onigiri with corn. This is very hot looking color.
What's the stem on top of that? Is that a green onion?
Nope, that's a stem that I cut it off of the spinach.
Oh,
So anything you can find, green onion, spinach, whatever it is, but something kind of cute. Now this, I put furikake on the top. This is a little hard to eat. I might add a piece of nori for the back, or dip this in furikake so there's a little bit more flavor going on there. Okay, so that will be for decoration purposes. Okay, and this is another way to serve onigiri, this onigiri without the nori. Okay, all right, I'm going to set that on the side. Does anybody have any questions at the moment about the seaweed? Can we, for just 1 minute, if everybody, can you unspotlight me, Jess, and maybe everybody could take a picture with their onigiri so I can see that, and then we're going to move on quickly to the soup.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
See if we can get that.
I think you have to take off
no.
your second camera, Deb.
Oh, yes, sorry. Let me get that right.
You can
Out.
also go into the other tab, which is meeting, and it should just have everyone.
Oh, there we are. Okay.
All right, let's see.
Oh, excellent. Let's see. How'd you do, Charlene? Good? Let me see. Oh, perfect. Yes, yes. And Lenny, hi, Ebony. I remember you. How you doing? Oh, nice. Perfect. Perfect. That's it.
Is everyone ready? I'm going to take one screenshot here. Oh, look at those. Those are beautiful, Genevieve.
Genevieve, excellent. All
All right,
right.
hold on one second. 1, 2, 3.
Onigiri. Beautiful.
Ooh, I love that Genevieve's.
Yeah. Genevieve, what is the orange? Is it
That's the salmon.
that's the salmon. Beautiful. Excellent. All right. So usually we wait and everybody eats together, but I think it would be good for you to have a taste of it now. And then we're going to move on to finishing up the soup. So put your hands together. We have to do this before we eat and say itadakimasu. This is an expression of appreciation for the people who made the food, people who grew the food, people who packaged the food, and it is very common saying during a meal. And then after the meal, I'll tell you what we say. Okay, so how's everybody enjoying it? Alexis, did you say you use carrot?
I haven't done that one yet, but that was the other request, was pickled carrot filling.
Pickled
I-
carrot filling.
Yeah,
Did you make the pickled carrot filling? Did you buy it?
I just made it real quick. I just did some fine carrots and some,
Uh-huh.
rice vinegar, sugar, etc. So
Good. Let me know how that works. Because it's liquidy.
Yeah.
You want a little bit more rice around it or something, but sounds good. All right, everybody. Do you want another minute to decorate your onigiri, or shall we move on to the soup? We ready to do that? Okay, so I'm gonna go back. If you could spotlight me again, and I'm gonna go back to my table and camera and share. Okay, all right. So here, and in Japan, the onigiri is the nori around the onigiri gets wrapped early in the morning. So in the beginning, it's a little hard to chew, but once you eat it, once you get it a couple of hours later, it is really very easy to chew. So not everybody is eating crispy onigiri. All right, so let me move these aside. Okay. And we will now go to the soup. All right. Can people tell me what you will be using to mix the soup? Anybody using a masher, a blender? What are the things that you'll be using? Anybody?
I have I use an immersion blender.
Yes, perfect. That's my go-to one. Let me just put this down briefly and get the masher. The immersion blender has emerged as my favorite tool in the kitchen, actually. And here we go.
Here, I'm finished.
All right. And so now, if it looks like there's a little bit too much liquid in it, you can pour some liquid out and then add it back in if you want. I think this should give me a pretty good texture. So I'm just going to put my blender in. And it's not hot anymore. I would not put that in hot liquid. And So what I am saying is mine is a little bit more liquidy than I want, so I'm going to just take out some of the water, some of the soup. I could always put it back in. Okay, but I'd like mine to be a little bit more creamy. All right,
Are we going for like silky smooth?
silky smooth, silky smooth. And if you
Like
have,
if people are using a masher, it would probably be hard to achieve that texture.
yeah, I brought my masher out so that I could also try that one. But because this is such a soft pumpkin, you can get pretty close. You can get pretty darn close with it, mashing it up. If it's not silky smooth, no big deal. Okay, but as you can see, I mean, I had a head start with my blender.
I didn't realize it took so little time to like actually cook the kabocha. Like every time I've cooked with it, I think I've overcooked it because I assumed it took so much longer. Because you were like, oh, like 5 or 10 minutes. I usually boil that for like 20, 30 minutes.
No. But when you were cooking it Japanese style, even then, where you're simmering it in soy sauce, mirin, sugar and sake, it takes a little bit longer because it's absorbing all of those elements into the pumpkin. But still, even then, it's much quicker. So look at that. That's with my masher. It's a very soft pumpkin, but I've got a lot of puree here, so I'm just gonna try and put some back. Okay. And then, if you notice, we did not add the soy sauce or mirin to it yet. So let me just get this back in. Okay. So usually, very often when I make pumpkin soup, I use a little bit of cream in it. And that kind of softens the flavor. If we're looking for a very Japanese flavor, I might not add it, but oh wow, that looks really good. And the little green flecks. Yeah. This soup freezes very well, and you can eat it hot or cold. Okay, it's really very good both ways. Now you could stop right here, or we can, and you don't have to add any more seasonings, but let's go for it. I think maybe we'll pull back on the amount of soy sauce in the beginning. I think it called for a tablespoon. I'm going to use a half tablespoon. Okay, and mix that in. Dashi is salty by itself, and then mirin is a sweet, kind of viscous rice wine. If you don't have it, you can add sugar. Okay, maybe half the amount of that. And this is calls for a tablespoon, and I will add a tablespoon of this. Okay, and again, I'm not doing it over my pot.
Is this a pretty traditional soup in Japan? I don't see a lot of like pureed soups.
No, it's not that traditional. I was talking to my colleague. I said, I want to make, pumpkin soup. How can I make this Japanese? And she said, add dashi. So I use the dashi for that. And the other thing I've seen around on the internet is adding miso, like a pumpkin miso soup.
Oh, that sounds really good.
That sounded really delicious to me. Okay. All right. We are cruising toward completion here. Okay. And so I will get my bowl here.
And I'm sorry, I think you mentioned this earlier, but was there a reason to add the mirin and the soy sauce after you pureed it?
If you add it while you're cooking it, it kind of the flavor dissipates a little bit. So this makes it the flavor a little bit stronger. Okay, so that it's added toward the end. All right, so here I've got my little tray And I'm going to add my elements here. I'm going to put, this is a radish, but it's a black bowl, and I'm going to cover the radish with the pumpkin. So that's why that's there. But here again, and I want to show you this, we are not adding soup to the very top, to the brim. You're leaving space so that people can admire the vessel itself, okay? This is not, you know, filled to the brim. This is restraint, okay? So if you can see, I have about 1/4 of an inch all around. You can still see the edge of the bowl. We're not filling it to the top. Okay, let's go get the spinach and get that ready to serve. And we'll plate it all up. Okay, so I've got my spinach now. It's marinated. Probably have a stronger flavor tomorrow, but I'm going to use it. Take it out now. And we want to try not to have too much of the sauce with it. We will spoon a little bit over, but again, maybe you're serving it like 2 tablespoons. Okay. We're doing this Japanese style, but afterwards you can eat it any way you like. Okay. And again, as you can see, it's individual plates, individual bowls. You can see around here. And then the topping for this is traditionally katsuo flakes. And I have my little cleaner here. So you can use the little ones that are in a package, or you can use these plates here that I use to make the soup with. And just put it on top like that. Okay, just a little bit. These were too big. I'm not finding my little package, and I don't want to take your time for that. Okay. And then, just for good measure, I'm going to add a little bit of sesame seeds on the top, like this. Okay. And on the bowl for my soup, I'm going to add a little bit of the furikake that has the sesame seeds, the seaweed, the nori, a little bit more flavor like that. And my onigiri. Okay. Whoops. Like that. I have to prop it up a little bit just so that you guys can see that. Oops. There we go. Can everybody see my plate here? So, has everybody put their plates together? Right, let me see. I'm going to go off. This is a soup. I mean, in Japan, people eat soup with chopsticks, but this one I would use a spoon for. Definitely use a spoon. But it is polite in Japan to pick bowls up. I will show you that. I'm sure many of you already know this.
Do they also like eat the soup when they just like lift it to their mouth and like drink it?
Yes. Yes, and I will show you that method. So let me switch off my camera here, and we'll all get together. And I'd love to see your plates. And stop share. So, can I see everyone? Whoops. Let me here. Does everyone have theirs plated? All right.
Or if you have anything to share to see, ooh, looks like we have the ohitashi.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
this onigiri looks so good.
Onigiri looks perfect. Excellent. Alexis, let's see yours. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful.
And Alexis, I'm glad that you had extra backup like roasted squash.
Yes, yes. So I didn't bring out the other thing I wanted to show you. You also can, for decorating the onigiri, you can use corn, you can use peas, all sorts of different things to make things kawaii. Where did my little pumpkin go? Okay, there. And then I think we will put our hands together. And I also will show you, let me get my chopsticks.
And sorry, Dad, you touched on something quite interesting when you're saying like when you fill food into the bowl, you want to make sure that you leave part of it empty to like acknowledge the vessel itself. Is that like a common practice when, you're serving food to others or for yourself?
Yes, 100%. Because generally Japanese bowls have some kind of decoration in them on the interior. Oops. And you want to be able to see some of that. Okay, and a lot of them also have beautiful rims on the sides, and that's part of the experience. It's definitely part of the experience. And it's not just for fancy dinners, it's for all the time. That's the way people do it. That's how it's done. Okay. Also for eating, maybe you could highlight me one more time so I can just show you. So, for eating soup with chopsticks, which you absolutely, can do. This is a little thick for that, but there's a way for men to hold it and a way for women to hold it. But generally you're putting 2 fingers under the rim of your bowl and holding it like this, and you bring it right up to your mouth. And that is a polite thing to do. Definitely very polite. And then the ohitashi is also eaten the same way. So, and I will just tell you for chopstick placement, it is always, I have 2 mismatched chopsticks here. The handle where you pick it up is to the right, and the place for eating is to the left. Okay? All the time. Does anybody know why the handle always goes to the right and the other piece goes to the left, and you always have little chopstick rest here as well? Anybody want to take a guess? Why that?
Mine would be, most people are right-handed, it's easier to pick up.
Yes, 100%. Again, this concept of omotenashi, of hosting things, of making the guest feel comfortable. So if you're lefty, you're in trouble in Japan. But there are more and more lefties. My son was a lefty. But still the chopsticks are always placed on the right.
And you
Okay.
never put it in the bowl, right? Like in the
Sure.
right.
Never, never. There are so many rules for chopsticks that you can't even count them. There are lots of rules around etiquette with chopsticks, and we do that. We teach kids that. But here it's different. If you pick up your bowl and put it to your face in Western culture, you're going to get a smack, because that is not considered polite. So anyway,
And Alexis shared the carrot onigiri was a little bit hard to shape.
it was. What did you get, Alexis? Can you show us?
Let me see if I can find.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments, or anything they'd like to share?
Oh, that was great.
It came out okay. It was just harder because the carrot gives you nothing, like it just wants to leave, basically.
You can unspotlight me. I'd like to see everybody's plate. So if we could take one more picture, if everybody has their plate, Charlene, how did you do, hun? Is this the first time you've been making this, or is this, you've done this before?
This is our first time, Emma and I. We've done some sushi, but this is our first time. So
Oh, great. Perfect. Excellent, excellent job. Okay.
If we can get everyone to hold up their dishes together, I'll try and take a picture of everyone's culinary creations here.
Lenny, is it Lenny or Lonnie? How did you do, Lonnie?
It's Lenny. And
Lenny?
can you see it?
Hold it up a little more. There we go. All right. One.
That, and then there's the soup. I know
Excellent.
it's hard. Something, my camera's not working so well.
Okay.
Sorry.
So if you
I'll
want-
upload a picture.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you. So if you could take a picture,
Yes, yes.
everybody say onigiri.
onigiri.
Super. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. That was really, really good. How does it taste? What do you
Delicious.
think? Delicious? Do you like the soup? That is one big bowl of nutrition, let me tell you. Huge amount of vitamin A and C.
Paprika's good. That can make some nice color.
Charlene, are you eating something for the first time that you've never had before? Anything? What?
I was gonna say, I think the bonita,
I'll
I've
move
had
it
seen
over.
bonita flakes and I've eaten them at restaurants, but maybe the first time at home. So
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, did anyone have any difficulty like finding the ingredients as well, or was it like pretty much available in your local grocery stores?
Oh, we're out in the desert and it's not easy to get a lot of the ingredients. So our actual soup is sweet potato. I mean, it's yams instead of the pumpkin.
How did it turn out?
Turn out.
Pretty good.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see it.
I
I
can't.
don't- Yeah,
Can
it's
you-
oh
Sorry, yeah, roll
wait.
it
You
down.
see it?
Yeah, that looks good. And if
Yeah.
it's too thick, just
press
add a
it.
little bit of cream or something to it, or a little milk or something like that.
Yeah.
Cindy, what about you? What did you think about your things? Have you tasted the ohitashi before? Have you made that?
The one the one new thing that I learned was Trader Joe's has the furikake.
Yes. Yes.
I never even thought to look, but they're getting more Asian things in and
Yes. Yes. Trader Joe's is like they're the ones that are introducing a lot of international ingredients to the American population, you know,
yeah,
including the seaweed. But they're, you know, that's the Korean seaweed that's got that nice little flavor with sesame oil and everything on it. But yeah, they've got furikake, but everything is made by a Japanese company or an
Yeah.
Italian company or
That's
whatever.
what it
So
says.
it's the real deal. It's
Yeah.
definitely the real deal.
I make my own gamashio, but you called it shiogomo.
Shiogoma.
Oh, I always call it gamashio. So.
Oh, goma shio. It's both ways. That's
Oh, okay.
goma shio is sesame salt, and shiogoma is salt sesame. You can say it either way. Goma shio. Yeah.
Okay.
And any of the people who did not cook along with us, do you have any questions or any comments or anything? I'm glad that you asked Julia whether it was hard to get ingredients or not. Pretty much everything's available online, but not everybody's going online for things.
I thought this was a really great menu because you can have you can make the spinach ahead of time. You can have the soup cooking and like sitting while you're making your onigiri. So it didn't feel too overwhelming because usually I watch these with everyone and then I make it later with my kids.
Yeah.
And so this is a really, it's nicely balanced in that way. So thanks, Deb.
Thank you for letting me know that. And then our next class will be, I think it's November 13th, but I'm not sure. It's going to be hosted by North Carolina, and we're going to be making a hot pot with Japanese ginger chicken meatballs and all the vegetables that go in a hot pot. Shiitake, napa cabbage, daikon, everything. So good for this season.
Nabe
Okay.
is like one of my favorite foods. So
Right,
that's, yeah, I'm excited to join the next one.
You don't have to have a special pot for it. You can just use a skillet and be able to do it that way.
Is it going to be the communal style or like the individual nabe?
Communal.
Communal.
And then people can just, take their own. Okay. So
I-
if you,
I'm going to drop this survey in the link right now so that if people have a couple minutes while we're finishing up here, they can fill it out. But this is, like Deb mentioned, this is really helpful to get your feedback just so we can continue to improve things and just hear how it worked out for you all. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in here, and then we can finish up while you guys are doing the survey.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. If you guys have any more questions, you can definitely let us know. But I know we have a couple more minutes left. But I just want to say some closing remarks and just say, like, this is our first time hosting, and thank you, Deb. This was so informative, and I really appreciate you talking about the food and also like the cultural importance behind it too, of like how you eat or how you serve, it was a really good thing for me to think of when I'm actually like cooking. Sometimes I'll just cook and then I'll just eat real fast, not have any like more thought into it. So I appreciate you kind of like sharing that as well. But yeah, and I want to thank everyone for attending our first hosted Ouchigohan class. We're so glad we could also help highlight the Onigiri Action initiative. So if you guys do have your onigiris, please take a photo and then upload that with the hashtag as well. And then we'll also be sending a follow-up email as well with the recording, and then also resharing the survey link as well. Just so we really want to hear your thoughts and experience with this session. And we hope to see you at a future Ouchigohan class. We also host virtual programs separately for our USJETAA as well, as I mentioned. But just to give a quick overview of the upcoming events that we have next week is the JET to HR Turning Global Experiences into People-Focused Careers, which is on October 21st. And then next month, we'll have the Religion of Anime on November 12th. And then in December, we have Pathways to Becoming a Language Educator on December 9th. But really appreciate all of you guys who attended. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening and then enjoy all the lovely food that you guys got to make tonight.
and finally, in our last one, if you could just put your hands together, and at the end of a meal, people say, "Gochiso sama deshita." Can you say that? Gochiso sama deshita. Okay, and again, it's a form of kansha, appreciation for your surroundings and everything. And every once in a while, I really try to eat mindfully, which means no book, no telephone, no nothing, just sit there and enjoy the food and the flavors. So anyway, don't forget hashtag Onigiri Action. If you post up, we'd appreciate it. One photo is 5 school meals to kids in need. Okay, thank you, everybody.